So he makes this arrangement. He calls this sheikh from Al-Azhar who knows somebody's got some juice, who's a dean with the Pakistan, and they give my name and they put my application in, and I do all the steps in the hoop, and the sheikhs tell me, yeah, no problem, you're in, right? Next year, September, beginning of the school year, you're in, and it's like 8 months away. And I'm like, oh man, I can't wait, I can't take it, I can't wait. And my father is saying to me, why don't you get an attorney, get a lawyer, who maybe can get the judge to agree that you get approval for being probation by mail, or probation in a distant land, or probation as a student, or temporary, or every 6 months because you go away for school or something like that, and you come back every 3 months or 6 months, or figure out some way. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So my dad goes and finds me a lawyer and does all the work for me because I don't want to bother doing anything. He finally finds a lawyer who agrees to go and find a judge who will agree to put me on a probationary system where I can do the probation by mail. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. By this time I had been a year into my probation, almost a year, so I think that kind of softened the situation a little bit. And plus, according to most lawyers at the time, I probably would only serve 3 or 4 years of a probation, and then it would just get deferred and they'd release it anyway. Because I was starting to get desperate. There's one little part of the story that many of you have been waiting for. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and this is the strangest story you've ever heard. You know, I'm talking with all these brothers and telling them, we should go to sit with different scholars and sit with different people, and they're like, nobody really wants to do it. So eventually one day I get a few, 2 or 3 brothers to actually come with me. And we go to a scholar from Al-Azhar in Egypt who was one of Ikhwan al-Muslimin. He's no longer alive, so Allah have mercy on him. No need to freak out the FBI. But he's from the Muslim Brotherhood, right? In Egypt. He's a well-known scholar, what we call jail school. Somebody was put in jail for their beliefs, right? It's one of the signs we use to determine if somebody is somewhat trustworthy, that they've been imprisoned for the sake of their faith. As a matter of fact, it was with his family that I first stayed when I went to Egypt when I was 18. His family took care of me and looked after me before I got to Al-Azhar in the university and helped me find an apartment and whatnot. So I was very close with his family, although I didn't know the sheikh himself very well. So I told the brothers, why don't we go to that sheikh's house and go sit and study and tell him to really teach us properly what's really, really going on. Right? And all the brothers are like, look, everybody goes to scholars and they just give you the standard boring lecture. We want to talk to real people, and nobody really wants to tell you what's really going on. Where do you get the juicy stuff? Where do you get the truth from? Where do you get the actual scoop of what's going on? So I get 2 or 3 brothers, we go, we sit with the sheikh, and he says, we go through the conversation, what would you like to study? We respectfully say, oh sheikh, you should recommend to us, what should we study? And he says, well, you should study the 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi, right? A collection of 40 statements of the Prophet, a very standard book. Every, Sunday school, Muslims should have gone over this book in their Sunday school. So all of us are like, okay, or exactly what we expected, right? Very basic level of the knowledge, right? We're all acting so arrogant. And so we go through the first day and go through the thing, and he recommends the book for us, and we all take it, and, typical. People are a little bit disgruntled, and we sit there, we show our respects and everything, and then we leave, right? And the brothers are all complaining, and I'm like, yeah, well, what did you guys expect? You're not going to get a scholar to just give you the lowdown on the most interesting things about what's going on in the secret societies of everything on the first day. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit respectful, and you got to have respect for the knowledge. And you also got to realize that, who knows? Maybe we're not ready to know the truth. Are you guys ready to know the truth? We said there are so many conspiracy theories in the world, and there's so many people talking about the next big disclosure, the next major disclosure. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and I told you, brothers and sisters, by the name of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger, you will hear it here first, because you're watching hot conflict, the strangest story you ever heard. Finally, I'm waiting for it. The sheikhs told me, if you just wait, we'll send your paperwork, it'll get approved, and in the mail, don't worry, everything's coming, and I'm anxious. They're supposed to send me a letter. The letter's supposed to give me authorization to go to the Pakistani embassy, and then they're going to give me the visa, and I can leave as soon as I get that, because I'm jonesing to get out. My dad's telling me the lawyer should have everything ready, and I want to get out of America because I can't take it anymore, because just being here is driving me crazy. Because even though we're saying, so many people are claiming, you're at war with America, you're at war with the American culture, everything about America is sending you to misguidance and falling apart, and they're leading you to darkness. And it's a con job, and you don't realize it. So I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for that day, for the letter to come, and finally I get that, that notice in the mail. You got a special letter coming from the post office. You got to come and personally sign for it. I'm like, oh, finally a registered letter. And I go there to get the letter, and I grab it, and it's not the one I expected. Let's flash back a few moments earlier, a few days, a few weeks, a few parts back in the story. A lot of the brothers that I'm hanging out with now are thinking, maybe we'll go individually. It's no point having a regular group. People are getting harassed by the FBI. We're all starting to go our separate ways. And I'm starting to tell people, listen, we have to be a lot more clear about what's going on, because everywhere we go, people are saying, why are you coming from the West and going to fight in the jihad? Why are you coming to Pakistan? Why are you coming to Somalia? Why are you coming to Nigeria? Why are you coming to Yemen? Why are you coming to any of the places that people are going from the beginning to the end? Anytime somebody comes from the West or from Europe, everybody in these other countries asks, why are you guys here? You guys were in the West. You guys were in Europe. You had the right to make money, live in freedom. Why did you come back here for the fight? That's crazy. If anything, you could have sent us money, right? Or better yet, figure out a way to stop the war. Right? Like, we're supposed to figure out how to stop the war, our kids who come there. And we're like, we came to find out about the jihad, and all these people want to go, and they want to see the front line. Oh, we want to go see the front line of the jihad. Everybody wants to go see it. And I'm just like that too. I've been to Bosnia, so I know that war's not glamorous, but is there a true group of mujahideen? Is there a place where people actually know the truth? Where do you go in the world to actually find a true scholar, someone who will finally tell you the truth? Weeks go by, telling the brothers, come on, maybe we should go see the sheikh again. Right? Nobody really wants to go. We book a time to go see the sheikh. Me and only one other brother. That brother who gave his pledge to me by hand. We go sit with the sheikh, just the two of us and the sheikh, and he gives us the beginning lesson, right? Imam Nawawi's 40 hadith. Hadith number 1. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Actions are by intentions. We're like, okay, we go through the whole lesson, actions are by intentions, and the whole explanation of that, and we're thinking, okay, intention. Is that the secret? We've been waiting our whole lives for that private moment with the sheikh, for the secret moment, and he's going to give us إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Right? Now, if you're not a Muslim, hearing that you're hearing like this first hadith of every single Sunday school kid, it's like the most basic, you're supposed to have good intentions. Right? And we're really, really kind of disappointed. Me and this other brother, like, we've come, this is the second time. There's only 2 of us now. We're really expecting even something, Sheikh. He gets up, goes into the other room, comes out with like this paper bag. We've been there maybe 45 minutes, not barely an hour. And he pulls out some stuff out of a paper bag and starts pulling out things. And I know exactly what it is. And I'm staring at it and looking at the sheikh and staring at it. And oh, brothers and sisters, my name is Salim, son of Shamshad, and I am the storyteller on this journey. And at that moment, I'm speechless. And the brother sitting next to me is staring down at what we're being shown, and we're both speechless. Because you've always heard rumors about different things and concepts, that there are conspiracies and dark forces at work, and you never really know what's going on, and that there are operations and false flags, and wheels within wheels, and rings within rings, and cells within cells. And there I am, sitting with another brother, a young brother like me, with a sheikh who's in his maybe late 70s, 80s, and we're alone in his apartment in Houston, Texas, and he's pulling out and displaying for us the apron of a master mason, the certificates of a master mason, the symbols and emblems of the master masons. And I recognize the symbols of the craft as clearly as day. But all I know about masonry is the same thing that all of you heard. Some secret society, and they have some secret handshakes, and, some certain presidents are involved, and, they have the Scottish and the locals, and symbols and pyramids and signs and the eye and all the basic stuff that everybody knows, and the Antichrist and the evil practices and the sacred craft and the square and the compasses, and I'm freaking out by what I'm seeing, and I can't believe this is true, and I don't know, am I being shown what I really think is happening? And before I can have a clear thought, because my mind is going in overdrive, because I can't believe this is the moment that this is actually happening in real life for me, the brother next to me, my brother, pulls at my side, and he's pointing at something, and I don't know what he's pointing at, and I look down, and as I'm looking down to see what he's pointing at, it's the name on the certificate, and as I look at the name on the certificate, something happens. The environment changes, and the sheikh starts to put everything away. He wraps everything up in a hustle, and I think I saw the name, and I thought I read it, and I'm like, I can't believe I just saw that name. And the sheikh puts everything away, and I look at the brother, and he says, "You saw the name?" And I said, "Yeah." And I just said, "Don't talk." The sheikh comes back realizing perhaps he shouldn't have shown us that, and his attitude totally changes, and I realize for the first time, perhaps we weren't ready to hear the truth, because we just both reacted probably very, very strangely. And we're both kind of freaking out. And I don't know if we're like moving, twitching or what, but we're like not sure what's happening. And he says, probably that's enough for today. And both of us get up and we leave. Now, the one thing I'm known of, amongst all the people who know me, amongst the leaders of ISNA, the Islamic Society of North America, and MSA, the Muslim Students Association, are those who came from the Muslim Brotherhood from Egypt and places like that, and formed the first generation in the 60s and 70s that then became these organizations. And the Jamaat Islami in Pakistan, or the Muslim Brotherhood there, that then formed the Islamic Circle of North America, and what membership you know here in the West. And I confirm from my brother that he saw the same name that I saw.